We're going to start off with psychosocial and then flow into the psychological. So the organization and its systems, that's the psychosocial. So key elements is looking at role clarity and expectations. Have you gone through and actually really removed all ambiguity, any hidden rules, any assumptions and expectations? Because when we speak about neurodivergent individuals, we need specifics. And then if you're being asked questions to clarify more, again, it's not a threat. It is not a challenge of authority. It is a request for more information. If you haven't been clear enough, you will get questions. So this also very much goes into that assumption of wanting people to do their role and then thinking if they don't do more than what's specified in their job description, that they're not going above and beyond. However, you need to be really specific, as in, this is your role duties, what we just expect as this is what you're here to do. But also, this is what above and beyond looks like. So you actually really describe both. It's looking at the workload design, it's looking at pacing. So this very much, it works around overwhelm, sensory overload. And it's really actually starting to respect that not everyone has the same energy patterns. Even as I say that, doesn't it feel kind of obvious that not every single person is going to be able to work in the same way? So it's to be able to start to look at, some people function better in the morning, some people are better in the afternoon, some people have short spurts, some people have longer, and then they need a bit of a rest break. So it's looking at being able to create an environment that respects different rhythms, that allows a high level of productivity. Then you've got sensory aware environments. It's considering the lighting itself, the noise, the workspace itself. Is it chaotic? What's the feeling of it? Is it clean? Is it minimalist? Is there natural light? So these are all things, because the open plan workspaces are really, really common. But if you don't create accommodation for people that are really highly stimulated and very sensory sensitive, their brain will be fried by the end of that day and they will struggle to be as effective as possible. And this directly goes into their health and well-being. Now, the next consideration is looking at processing accessible communication. This is being able to consider the different learning styles, because you might think, well, I've told this person 10 times and they're still not doing it. Have you thought about the fact that maybe that person is not auditory? Maybe they need it in writing. Maybe even once you've delivered it verbally and writing, maybe it's not framed in a way that they can receive what you are saying. So being really respectful of different communication styles. And you might be thinking, and trust me, I've heard this in the past, as in, why do I have to go through all of this effort? Why can't people just know what I'm talking about? It's because we're all different. And every person deserves to be able to be spoken to in a way that they can receive the information. And believe me, this actually then in turn really benefits you, because it means they can then take on board what you're saying and put it into play without you having to repeat yourself or go through it more than you would have needed to. It's looking at performance frameworks that value outcomes over conformity. What I mean by that is sometimes we are told that, right, this is the target, this is the goal, this is what we want to achieve, and this is what we want, how we want you to get there. That, again, doesn't always work. So a different approach could be, this is the outcome, let's talk about it. So this is ideally what I would love to see, is in how we get there. But I would actually like you to share with me, does this work for you? Is that possible for you? Do you have different approaches, different ways of getting here? Because it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're handing everything over and hands off the wheel. It means you are creating a space for other people to share a different way of approaching, so you can see perhaps a different path and you know how it's going to be done. So in a leadership position, obviously it's still beneficial. If it's not the way you were hoping it was going to be done, it's still beneficial for you to be able to get an understanding of a different way of doing things. Okay, and the last one that I want to mention is a policy that normalizes accommodation. This is where we talk about removing stigma and administrative friction. So this could also go into, what kind of education practices do you have in place? What kind of awareness, what kind of stipulations, and how do you make this effective? How do you put it into action? How do you ensure it is not just a bit of paper and it is actually embodied, lived and breathed on a daily basis? Now, there's probably a lot more. So again, I really encourage you to research on these things for yourself, because these are just a few tips, but there could be so many more that you find that are more relevant for you and your people. So this is just a spark of thought, but everyone is so different.